1 second. Alrighty. I'll just wait a second. I'll just start talking. So, this is a short video. I got... Wow, that stuff's crazy orange. Orange Gatorade. It's like some electrolyte thing that came in the kit. Any case, so shorter video just than the last time, but the Instagram, I don't know what it was doing. So I did an Instagram little race recap on my dad's phone because mine was out of battery, and his phone was connected into the car and like through Apple CarPlay there, and I guess like the input went through the car's thing or something, and so anyways I ended up sounding like I OD'd on helium, and so I had to delete those videos and then do another one here, but in any case, so a shorter one because those were, I'm doing it here because I think I ended up doing maybe 6 stories, and it's just so annoying. On Instagram, just you do a story and then you go and okay, let me do another story, and then you go and then you go, oh, I ran out of time in that, I got to do that one again, and then you go and do another story, and it's just like then it ends up being all over the place and things are uploading at different times. It's just really annoying. Any case, so shorter recap, and hear people watching now, you can hear what I was saying in the video, hopefully. Man, that's orange. Holy moly. What I was saying was, so I'll introduce it here. Hello, how you doing? Going all the way back, so I'll just go through the race. So today we did a relay, first time ever doing a relay at Guelph Lake 2 race. I've liked Guelph Lake 2 in the past. I've done it twice. I've won it twice. So I got some good memories of it. And so went and did it, doing the relay this time, which I thought was really cool because it's like there are so few time trials out there. I'd love to be able to just jump into another time trial, but I mean, where, when, like, they don't exist really, unfortunately. And so I thought this would be a great way to get kind of basically a time trial in, and also kind of get me back out into the triathlon community again, meet some new people, and yeah, put together a nice, cool, fast team. And that's exactly what we had today. So I'm doing the bike leg, so it's a 30K bike. Our swimmer Paul was doing a 750 meter swim. And then Jacob, our runner, is doing a 7K run. And so started out, and Paul had a great swim, put me in a really, really good position. And so I wasn't too far back at all. It was only 2 guys, I think it was, yeah, just 2 guys ahead of him. And so main guy there was Taylor Reed was ahead of him. There was one other guy, I don't know his first name actually. His last name is Chan, I believe. I don't know his first name, unfortunately, but he was ahead of Taylor. He had a great swim. But Taylor would definitely be the main go-getter on the bike there. And so I got on. I don't know what my deficit was to him, but I kind of like waddled over to the mountain line, because I'm in like overshoes and stuff like that, going like full TT mode essentially. And so got onto the bike, clipped in, and just got going pretty good right off the start. Was quite slow actually for the first 3 minutes. Like, was looking down at the speed and it was like 35, and I was like, what the hell? But I think it was just because there's a bit of a hill coming out of transition, and then you you keep going straight onto a road called Watson Road. And Watson Road is basically Paris-Roubaix. Like, it's cobbles. It's one of the worst road surfaces I've ever seen. And thank God that there was a course change. I will say the Subaru Triathlon Series probably should have that on the website, because the website is showing the old course, the course that I knew and I've done before. I've never done today's course. I mean, even last weekend I rode the course based on the course map. That wasn't the course at all, not even remotely close to it. So probably someone at Subaru Triathlon Series should, you know, update the course maps. You only have like 4 or 5 races left in the series, like, because they've reduced and reduced. So considering you only got like 5 races to put things together for, probably should get a proper map, like an actual map. But hey, whatever. So was very happy though with the change, because what it meant was that we were on Watson for a little bit less. It did bring a pretty steep climb into the mix, and so it would be hard in that respect. But as I said, at least we're on Watson for basically a whole mile less, which was a really very welcome to me, because I was nervous about Watson. I rode it the week before, as I said, and it was actually, I found it actually difficult to pedal. Like, forget put power out or stay aero or anything like that. I actually found pedaling difficult. And so yeah, I was quite happy that we turned off relatively quickly. But on Watson, I passed Taylor, got around pretty quickly up one of the little climbs on it. And there are, like, throughout the whole course, it's just kind of up and down. There are very few long stretches where you're actually just like, steady, kind of a steady plowing away effort. It's just kind of more just up, down, up, down, up, down. Some climbs pretty punchy. This one in particular it kind of caught me off guard, like how punchy it was. I kind of saw it and thought, okay, whatever. And then got up it and was like, okay, I should probably have changed down a couple more gears, because I'm at a very low cadence. But fortunately, I'm very comfortable at very low cadence. Hey, how's it going? And so yeah, just was at like 512, I think, watts at like, I don't know, 40 RPM, just going away. And yeah, so Taylor stayed nearish to me for a few minutes. I had looked back at one of the turns and he was still pretty close. But then we got to the first kind of main downhill on the day, and pretty much after that downhill I was gone. And so I think I'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, so I was rolling along pretty good then. Average speed was quite low to the turnaround. It was like 41-ish k an hour, and was thinking like, this isn't going to be a great bike at all. Even though I feel great, and that's the main thing. I felt really good. I felt really strong. Felt really good from the warm-up and everything. Like, in the warm-up, I'm like, yeah, the power is good. It was one of those days. It was just like, yep, power's good. I'm hitting my watts really easily. My warm-up's the same warm-up I've been doing for a while. I do an effort in aero, kind of steadier effort, and then I go into a low cadence, kind of tempo sweet spotty type effort, and then I do a 2-minute threshold or race pace type effort, and then I just do some short, sharp little openers, just like 10-15 second, just really spin the pedals over. And yeah, in that threshold effort, I was like pushing 320 easily, which was different than the Friday before at Provincials, where that it wasn't that it felt brutal, but the heart rate was really high. Here it was like it was probably 15 beats a minute lower. And it just came so easily. Like there were people around me, like my relay team around me, and then some other new people that I had met, and like we were all chatting away there, and like I was talking to them as like I was at 320, and so it was like, yeah, this could be good. This could be a good day. And so yeah, rolled along well. I passed that leader a little bit ago, maybe like 5 to 6K in. Went past him, and then it was just me and the race vehicle. But man alive, were there a lot of cars on that road. I don't know what was going on. Like, obviously people didn't adjust their schedules accordingly, because that road was jammed with cars, and there were some really tough moments where the race vehicle is obviously trying to let the car pass. I bet you eat corn on the cob the long ways. I don't even know what that means. What other way is there? Like, you mean go across like this? Yeah, hell yeah. Why? You go around? What kind of animal goes around it? No. But any case, so what was I saying? I don't know what I was saying. Lost my train of thought. Past people. Oh, race vehicle. Yeah, the race vehicle was like, they would let someone pass, and they would like be going into the shoulder, and then this person would be having to make this really tight pass, sketchy looking pass, and then the race vehicle would kind of be slowing down, and I'd be like catching up, not to the point that I'm like right behind, but like catching up to the point that I'm starting to think like, he knows like I'm going pretty fast, right? He's gonna start stepping on it in a sec. I don't want to like drill him. And so like there were a couple. It was just like, okay, guy, get it going. Like, I'm coming. So let's go. Anyways, got to the turnaround, and that's where, as I said, I was at like 41K an hour, good power. I was at the 300 to the turnaround, maybe 297, something like that. And then got around the turnaround really good. Turnaround was also sketchy because there was a car coming, and I didn't really know, is this person going to wait for me or not? So I kind of took it a little slow, because I was not sure if that person was going to know that I was actually turning around. And I didn't see any traffic marshal at the turnaround, which I thought was, again, just like, I think this is the one place you actually really need one. But anyways, the way back was craziness for a couple reasons. One, it was where so at the turnaround, I maybe had 30 seconds, maybe. But after the turnaround, where now it's going to be kind of downhill-ish all the way back, and a slight tailwind, slight headwind on the way out, very slight. But the way back, where it was like super fast, that was where I was just putting acres of space into Taylor and the other guy there, and just kind of putting myself really out of sight. So I must have put maybe 30 seconds at the first half, and then maybe a minute and a half through into the second half, something like that. And I'm really happy with that for the way that kind of pattern really makes me quite happy for a number of reasons. I think I think that's a testament to all the aero work that I've done, because it shows that in the high speed section, that's where I put my most time into people, which is kind of cool, because it's like, here, like a lighter weight rider, you would think like, oh, maybe you don't have kind of that, out and out power to really kind of get some big speeds. It's obvious that like my CDA is so good right now, that I'm able to kind of just get to a really high, and with the chain ring being a 62 tooth chain ring, it's like I'm drilling in like there were sections I'm just in 6211 and just like plowing ahead. And so yeah, put a lot of time and got really fast. But I will say, my big criticism on the race was, I mean, this was a race I would really have to think about doing it again, to be honest, because there was no way, shape, or form that was a safe bike course that we should have been biking on. There were so many, like, so one, there was a lot of cars on it, but then once I was on the way back, now we had the cyclists coming on the way out, and there were big groups too, like big sections. And because of that, all the cars that were going southbound had to then wait for the cyclists to make, say a left-hand turn. And so at the intersections, you would have this line of like 20 cars waiting for all these cyclists to go past. But then the problem is that I'm coming this way, coming back, and I'm looking out and I'm seeing this line of 20 cars. And so I had to make a decision multiple times, and sometimes it was one way, some was another. Whereas, okay, so either I'm a go, because I'm going 55, 60K an hour down a lot of this stretch. It's like either I'm going into the oncoming lane with the in that lane, and who knows if there's another car coming in that lane, but either I'm going into oncoming traffic or I'm going into the shoulder. And it was one of two. And I did one of this, one of that. One of them, I went into the shoulder little too tightly, and it was I'm not gonna say I was riding the gravel for 100 meters or something like that, but it was a soft shoulder for like 5 meters, something like that, where just kind of the road kind of dipped off a little bit and then back on. So it was maybe 5-10 meters, but then made the right hand turn. And so it was like, then there was one coming back, excuse me, where it was like there was a tractor like across the road trying to make a turn. And again, like I'm like, because my race vehicle was stopped at that, and I'm like looking around, just I don't even know what I'm doing right now, because there's a tractor this way and there's our race vehicle here, and like I don't understand why they're not like honking on the horn, like to get the person like out of the way. Because what I ended up then having to do is I went in front of the race vehicle, and then so I went like this in front of the race vehicle and then around the tractor that way to make the right hand turn. And so the way back was unfortunate because it was really fast, and it would have been really fun, and I would have said, wow, what a fun bike course coming back. But unfortunately, the way back, my God, it was the wild, wild west. And so I'm a little like, and I said to the couple officials after, I said, like, the traffic control was horrendous, and the bike course design was just doing an out and back open to cars on a busy road doesn't make sense, especially when there's turns. Because again, like I said, the scenario is that there's going to be people coming out, and when you're coming back, the car is going to try to pass these people, but the thing is I'm coming back. So it creates a very dangerous scenario, and I was quite critical of provincials last week, talking about cars on courses that are open to cars, and I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to keep pushing for it. And more, like I know other athletes are pushing for like lessen the drafting, all that. But for me, like, I am going to keep pushing and keep saying to all these race directors, as I said after the race, I called over to a couple of them and I talked to them, and I said that was not safe what I just biked on. You're lucky that there are thank God there are no incidents, but this is a recipe for disaster, right? When you have, as I said, two coming either way, and the road that you're on is an 80, meaning country drivers are driving 100. So they're going to pass out a peloton of riders with you coming the other direction, and possibly not hugging, the inside shoulder, because it's a race. You might be in the middle of the lane more than usual. which, I mean, a lot of us tend to do because we're kind of just head down and drilling for power, like going for speed, right? We're not really, you know, thinking about, oh, you know, I got to stick, you know, in the gutter, you know, like we would on a training ride. So I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to keep saying it over and over and over next year when I get back. And I'm sorry if it's annoying, but I will say, and I will go down on it and say, courses should never be open to cars ever. I know it costs a lot of money to close roads. I know that. I understand that. It's easier said than done. But in my opinion, if you don't have the money to close the road, then don't have the race. And I know that would mean that there's a lot of races that disappear. Ultimately, though, if there are incidents with cars, when there's a cyclist involved, it tends to be really bad. And so one person having an incident with a car is too many, in my opinion, when it can be avoided. At least partially closed, where you put a pylon going out. And don't tell me that pylons cost a lot of money. You can get them at Dollarama and just throw them out and give us a lane, at least. And so the cars can keep going in the middle, whatever. I don't care. But anyways, that's my rant. The good news is that, I mean, I'm not saying that there is bad news, but the good news is that on the way back, as I said, my position is so good, and my position felt so much better than it did at provincials, unfortunately. I feel it's almost like I needed almost another week with that Giro Arrowhead 2 helmet, because, I mean, I did another ride here after the race. I'll talk about that in a bit, not in this video, but I did another ride. I cooled down at the race, and then did another ride here afterwards, doing some fun things. And on the way back from it, I was like, man, I'm starting to kind of really like this helmet. And when I first got it, I'll say I was not convinced on it. I was like, I don't find it comfortable. I don't really like the position it's got my head in. But today, oh boy, today in the race, man alive, my visor was touching my hands the whole time. And that is such a great feeling to know that, like, it's like my head cannot get physically lower. That's a great feeling. Like when you're going along and you're like, I am in a godly position right now. And it felt like it. It felt really fast. Anyway, so booked it on the way back. I think the average, I had about, like, I was looking down at my thing and I saw it was like 39 and change to the dismount line. So it's like 40, 45 and a half, 46K an hour. Average power was around 300, 305, and then normalized was up around 320. So again, more power than I did at provincials, and actually felt significantly easier than that, and with some big spikes in it too. So I mean, I do tend to do better on spikier courses. It just suits my style of riding a little bit more. But yeah, so it was a really good bike. I wish I had that power last week, and wish had the position like that last week. But last week was first race on that bike, first race in that position, and as I said, it's going to keep evolving and keep getting better and keep getting better. And fortunately, this isn't a one and done kind of deal here. You know, I'm going to get surgery in 2 weeks, and then, you know, that bike is waiting for me. And so, like, for next year and next year's racing. And so it will be the same thing where, you know, first race will be whatever, and then it's just going to get better. And then the tools, the framework is in place. Everything's in place that to have really good performances, I think. And I really like that bike. I love the drag to zero bars on the front. I absolutely love them. The Aero Coach Titan is as stable as anything I've ever ridden, actually, to be honest with you. And so, yeah, it's really a cool thing heading forwards. And the other is that when I got to that dismount line, one of two things. Either I felt like I could do another loop or another 2 loops and make it a 90K. That, or I was like, man, I feel great. I feel like I could do the run. And like I was wanting to do the run because I'm like, I got a 2 minute plus lead here. And it's like, like I could defend a 2 minute lead. Come on. Like, so it's just like, it was just, man, when I get back to running, oh, I'm gonna, yeah, it was kind of that feeling. And so it was just like, ugh, I feel great, and I feel definitely like I could run off that 100%. Which is interesting also, just because I do find it hard still, a little bit hard still, to like just bury it to the dismount line, because I'm used to running afterwards. And so like I'm not like vomiting at the dismount line like you see people in a TT like just dead, right? Here I'm okay. So I mean, it's something still that I need to get used to, because I do want to incorporate a lot more time trials into my race schedule going forwards. And so I do have to get used to and learn how to just bury it on the bike outside there, and like tell yourself there is no run afterwards. Just nail it. But yeah, like today I'm like, I feel like I could run right now 100%. Like, and like I got a 2 minute lead. Like, come on. Like, the win's right there. But any case, so I'll be patient and I'll wait until next year to unleash the full Frank the Tank. This is just the beginning, just showing little slivers. So yeah, we got off with the lead, and then Jacob had a fantastic run, absolutely fantastic run, and we are actually overall winners. So like we were 119 for the whole race, and the winner in the try that obviously did the swim bike run was Taylor. He had a great race too. He was 121. So we were 2 minutes up in the end on him, with slower transitions for sure, because having to pass off the timing chip from one to and me waddling to the line in overshoes and off the bike in overshoes is a little bit of a slow process. But yeah, a good day. I think I pretty comfortably took the course record on the bike by a minute and a half or so, and so that's a cool feeling. And yeah, getting the win is always great. I mean, in the relay, so we had the overall best time, but then in the relay, I think we were 12 minutes up on second place, and 22 minutes, because we were 119 and third place was 141. So we destroyed the relay. So we had a great team, and Paul and Jacob had fantastic races themselves, and they still got stuff left to do on their season. So wishing for them all the best in the rest of the season. It was overall a really great day. Met a lot of great people, reconnected with a lot of people that I haven't seen in a really long time. And so that's kind of part of the reason I wanted to get back out into the tri world again with this race, even if I wasn't doing the full tri. And as I said, I on the bike itself still got a really good 30K effort in. Huge win aerodynamically speaking today. That was like, there were times on the way back where I was like, the CDA must be disgusting. I'm like doing the math in my head, but pretty much being like, this bike is really fast. And so that's really exciting going forwards. Coming up next, and then I'm done this video, is I do have 2 more time trials, but solo time trials on my own. I'll give more details, but one is going to be about a 10-mile long time trial, and then this will be around an hour long time trial, a little bit longer than 40K. And then surgery September 12th. So I got a week and a half to get these 2 in, and hoping that the weather stays like today, we had really beautiful weather today. Not too hot, no wind really to speak of, and just beautiful sunny skies. And so yeah, it was a great day out, and I will catch you next time. Thanks so much for watching.